is Jennifer Coffindaffer, a friend of mine, former FBI agent who's been following this case very, very closely. All right, Jennifer, let's start with this new development today of what the public defender is getting paid. I saw you just tweeted about it. What do you make of it?
I was very surprised, and let me tell you why. She's a government county employee. I can tell you that the law enforcement officers that were investigating that case, those 60 FBI agents, the state detectives, their salaries did not get doubled because they were working a quadruple homicide. I've been trying to research. It's been a short period of time that I've known about this. I've never known of something like this to happen with a public defender to have their salary increased. Her previous salary was noted as 119 to 172,000, probably dependent on overtime figured into that. And now she could be making about 384,000, and that is without overtime. And her co-counsel making 180 an hour for 40 hours. So this is big, Brian. It's a lot of money, and I don't understand how they can do it.
Yeah, you make a good point. I hadn't thought about that. The detectives don't get paid more money or anything like that. But I will say we have to remember this is a death penalty case. It takes a lot of expertise. It's a difficult case. I called a few friends of mine who were in the field before this, right when we found out. They weren't terribly surprised. They said they would have thought the number may have been closer to $100 an hour. But certainly when you add it all up, and $384,000 a year, I think that came as a surprise to a lot of us. Okay, let's move on. Ashleigh Banfield has had a lot of exclusive reporting over the last week or so. Last night, really a big development with what she reported about the 911 call. She says that according to her sources, it was Ethan's best friend who made the call from Dylan's phone. You'll remember that was the morning after the murders. We didn't know who made the phone call. Now, according to the sources, it was Ethan's best friend. Why do you think that's important, and how do you think that sort of fits into what we already knew, Jennifer?
Well, of course, this was information that was kind of dribbling through social media very early on, and now we have a source also reporting it. You know, it's going to be important, Brian, to know who all was there. Law enforcement obviously already does know, but all these details are going to become very important to the timeline and to also who was in that crime scene right after those murders were committed and before law enforcement was there.
Yeah, and we've got the gag order now, which explains why a lot of people are not talking. But it also sort of makes sense why so many of these people involved weren't talking even before the gag order. We didn't realize at the time, but a lot of them apparently are witnesses in the case.
Absolutely. They're witnesses, and they're important witnesses. And it's important that they're not out in the public talking. It can really taint their testimony later on if they even make one statement that doesn't seem to go with another statement. That's a defense counsel's dream and a prosecution's nightmare.
So when we had the affidavit, Jennifer, there was the line about Dylan being frozen in fear, that, you know, when all of this was happening, she saw a man walk by in a mask and was frozen in fear. And there was a lot of confusion about what took so long to make the 911 call. But when you piece together some of Ashleigh's reporting, her reporting is now indicating that Dylan didn't necessarily know that something bad was going on upstairs, that there were just noises, that, you know, it was a party house. It may have been something else going on. And perhaps that's why she didn't initially call, and then now we know that it was Ethan's best friend who used her phone to make the call and made the discovery. How do you think all of those new tidbits fit into the timeline? Does it make sense to you?
Well, the bedrock of this case in terms of what we have in the public as far as facts is that probable cause affidavit. That's the cornerstone of the case as we know it right now factually. If you look at that, there were 3 different times she opened that door. And so these statements that are being made by the source certainly make sense with her first time she opened the door, where she talks about hearing possibly Kaylee playing with Murphy. And possibly there could be more that was stated. Remember, Brian, in these interviews and the interview of Dylan Mortensen, it is going to be pages long, possibly hours long of recorded interview time. So the PCA just has a small snippet of what was said. So I think both statements can be true, but the bottom line is I do believe she was frozen. She was terrified when she saw that figure in her doorway.
Yeah, it's a good point that she opened the door several different times and may have had a different reaction each time. Jennifer, thanks so much for coming on tonight. It's always good to see you, my friend.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.